When we were little kids, one of the first things we ever learned was the classification of animals. We all learned that these are invertebrates and these are vertebrates. And vertebrates have a vertebra. They have a spinal column. But what is in the spine? And how come scientists reckon that it is like a second brain? This is the nervous system. First of all, the nervous system is divided into two parts: the peripheral nervous system and central nervous system. The central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord, both encased in bone. The peripheral nervous system is everything else. Peripheral nervous system is the link between the organs of the body and the brain. If you decide to move your feet, you use peripheral nervous system to do that. It connects your limbs and everything to your brain. It allows the brain to affect the organs and receive information from them. Peripheral nervous system has two parts: the sensory-somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. The sensory-somatic nervous system is the one that enables you to move your toe or your arm or anything.
Wiggle your big toe. Hard part's over.
The brain gives orders and the body moves. Simple. Or vice versa. By using sensory neurons, it conveys some information, like this, to the brain. Somatic, meaning bodily, lets your brain control your bodily organs by using motor neurons. Sensory neurons are also called afferent, and motor neurons are also called efferent. The other branch of peripheral nervous system is the autonomic nervous system. It controls whatever is automatic in your body, like smooth muscles, like your heart. Your heart beats autonomic, and some glandular functions, like saliva, sweat, and breast milk. Autonomic nervous system also controls many of the body's self-regulating activities, such as the circulation of your blood or digestion. None of these things are under your conscious control, right? So they are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. ANS divides into two branches which are counterbalancing each other: sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system fires your fight and flight instinct. It readies an animal to cope with an emergency. When sympathetic one kicks in, your heart speeds up, so more oxygen flows into your muscles. Your pupils dilate for greater light sensitivity, so your vision is improved. And your hands get all sweaty, so your hands get a better grip. The parasympathetic nervous system counteracts the previous one. The parasympathetic system slows you down. It lets the body calm down. It slows heart rate, contracts the pupils, increases salivation, and stimulates digestion. The central nervous system is the brain and spinal cord. The spinal cord is the largest highway for information going to and from the brain. It is an incredibly sophisticated, flexible rope of neurons that runs inside the backbone. The spinal cord is organized into two large tracts. One runs along the front side and the other one is at the back side. Front side sends the brain's commands to the body, and the back side does the opposite. The spinal cord is more than just a nerve. In fact, it is a complex organ possessing an intelligence of its own. Stereotyped movements like standing and walking are pre-programmed within the spinal cord's gray matter. This frees up our cerebrums to do more humane things, such as composing the Ninth Symphony or painting nighthawks. A spinal cord injury is either complete or incomplete. A complete injury deprives the patient of all sensation and movement below the level of the injury. If the spinal cord is injured in the lumbar region, the patient can't move his legs but may move his arms. When the injury occurs very high in the neck, near the base of the skull, the muscles of respiration will be paralyzed and the patient suffocates. A successful hanging produces this injury. Locked-in syndrome is a horrible disorder that a patient only can move his eyes. It is a disorder where a person's brain disconnects with his spinal cord, and the result is losing all control over motor functions while remaining conscious. We will divide the brain into three parts now: the hindbrain, the midbrain, and the forebrain. These divisions are consistent throughout all animals, but the proportions change, and the biggest forebrain is yours. On entering the skull, the spinal cord becomes the brainstem, which consists of three important structures: medulla oblongata, pons, and midbrain. Functions of them are so important, like breathing, blood circulation, digestion, and swallowing, all of that controlled by the brainstem. The midbrain has some additional and specialized functions. Visual information is relayed to this part of the brain, and some forms of visual reflexes, for instance, blinking and certain eye movements, are organized here. Similarly, auditory reflexes also originate in this region. Cerebellum, the little brain, coordinates muscular activity, both in postural and locomotor mechanisms, all of which are carried out at a subconscious level. The cerebellum is there to maintain balance. Walking, holding a cup of coffee, or riding a bicycle are all wonders of the cerebellum. Balancing your body while walking seems so easy, but it actually is most certainly not when you think about it. The cerebellum is so underrated. Just because it makes it look so easy doesn't mean it is easy. Try and build a robot and you will appreciate how amazing the cerebellum is. Most positions of the body are achieved by the antagonistic activity of opposed groups of muscles. These muscles, if not properly coordinated, are sufficiently powerful to break bones, or at least to tear other muscles out of position. It is therefore vital that these groups of muscles be carefully coordinated. This is the thalamus, and it is the Wi-Fi router of the brain. The sensory systems, like vision and hearing, and the motor systems that control muscles have neural connections to the thalamus, which routes their signals to other parts of the brain. The thalamus is also involved in controlling sleep and in attention. As a matter of fact, at this very second, if you are understanding what I am saying, your thalamus is allowing you to fix your attention on this. The thalamus plays such a critical role in daily life that if it is badly damaged, the patient will die, even if the rest of the body remains untouched. Hypothalamus is just under the thalamus and deals with homeostasis and hormones. It also is extremely important, but what here isn't anyway. Why would anything unimportant be there? Anyway, the hypothalamus plays a central role in controlling eating and drinking and in regulating the body's temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, sexual behavior, and hormones such as those that prepare an animal to fight or flight. The hippocampus lets you learn new facts. It allows new information into the brain's memory banks. The hippocampus looks something like a seahorse, and hippocampus in Greek means seahorse. See, you have learned a new thing right now. If you haven't got a hippocampus, you couldn't have. The amygdala plays a special role in strong emotions such as fear and anger. The cerebral cortex, telencephalon or neocortex, whatever you say, forms the surface of the brain. It is spongy and jelly-like and extremely convoluted or wrinkled. Wrinklier the brain, the more intelligent the animal is, we believe, as humans. I don't know, because ours is the wrinkliest and we love to believe these kind of things. These are mammal brains. These wrinkles allow a greater volume of the cortex to fit into the skull, compared to the smooth surface of the reptilian brain. Most intelligent aspects of function like memory, thinking, learning, reasoning, problem solving, emotions, consciousness, and functions related to our senses are organized in the cerebral cortex. So we needed more, And we actually have more volume of the cortex to our body size than any other animal. Cortex got evolved this way, wrinkled, because otherwise we would have giant heads. Have a good day.